Wednesday, September 14th. I've been working on this for years, it seems. A couple years ago, I got desperate and I attached my router to my saw, my table saw. This is a Bosch router, 1 3/4 horsepower. It's very old. I think it's about, I forget, it must be 25 years old. And it's a heavy router. It's still got a lot of power, still works. Nothing, I rarely used it. I'm not good with routers. And this arrangement has worked out fairly well, putting it on as a table, making a router table out of a saw table. And what I lack is a proper sled for the router table, and that's what I've made here. I've made this over the last couple of days. Let's take a look. The whole idea of the sled, it has two slats rather, mitered slat. They go in the miters. On the saw table, it comes with a miter, and it's only just over 1/4 of an inch thick. It's very narrow, and it's about, I think it's just over a 1/2 inch wide. So it's a very, very narrow thing. And if it's made out of metal, it works just fine. Well, what we did here is I used the hardwood and made my own slats on this sled. And here's my push. It's a very small, it's just enough to put some weight on. And it works fairly well. It's pretty good. And I've never used it yet. I've seen it, I've seen videos and things like that. So what we're going to do today is to test out this new gizmo and see if it works. I've had to make some adjustments. I had to cut back this side of it, but it's rough and ready. It's definitely an amateur thing, but I'm hoping for the best because I have a lot of these styles to cut for my rail. Now, here's where the rubber meets the road, the bit meets the wood. It's right there. We're going to, the whole idea is to cut a quarter inch on each side of some below, and I have some here, but we're testing out on this pine, and this will let us know if this works. And as you can see here, I've already sized it. I've already put it in position, and that is done here with this adjustment here, and you can adjust the router up and down. I have to leave enough in the sleeve to make this work. That's what really is a problem with using a saw table. It's not really designed for this, and there's a lot of extra metal here that on a normal router table you wouldn't have. The phenolic plate is I think a 1/4 inch thick, so this is not ideal, but it's working. And shows you some of the limitations of using this. For now, that's what we're going to do. It'll work. Also, here's another limitation of my little sled. I did cut this wood last night on this saw table. It's fairly straight, but it's nothing like a factory-made sled. You know, is this truly at right angles? Well, it's close enough, and that's really the whole point of this thing. It's going to be close enough. I did a pretty good job of putting these guides on, and that's what makes it work. And I worked at getting them at right angles, so I think we're good. Let's get this thing back in, and let's line it up. Let's turn it on and see if I can work both the router and the video with one hand. Okay, that's the whole idea right there. Not bad. It's uneven. I'm not trying to make this perfect. By the way, this is a rabbiting bit. It's got that, see, I did a terrible job there. It's got a stop on the top, which prevents, it allows you to work off, to create a shoulder. That's the whole idea. Ideally, in this arrangement, I would have the bearing on the bottom, but it's, because it prevents me from using the entire, well, it does create a shoulder fine enough. I think the shoulder on the bottom would be a little better, but we can play with that later on. But that's what we're trying to do here, is to create a proper shoulder. And that shoulder will fit, this wood will in effect fit into the rails like this. This is the whole idea. It fits into the rails and it creates a nicer, it's tighter fit. That's the whole idea. That's a wrap.